Everybody, welcome back. REI Partners, Series 2 of 4 in Self-Managing Your Property. The subject of this is going to be post-closing preparation and marketing. Once you physically have the property, you now need to get this thing making money, stop costing you money, and the only way you do that is with tenants who are paying the bills. So, making it market ready, post-closing setup, and attracting tenants is a critical piece to your business. The first step in this is conduct a detailed walkthrough. Cameras are going to be your friends, whether it be a phone, a digital camera, a Matterport 3D, whatever it is, you need full pictures of this property, regardless of its condition, as soon as you purchase it. Do a full walkthrough. Get a picture of every room from every angle and store it in a file on your computer or on the cloud, just keeping a mental record and a digital record of the quality and the condition of this property. Every common area, every exterior piece, get a drone for the roof or anything you can do to get a good solid foundation of the inner or the condition of this property. Note any damage and have a repair list, a punch list, because you're not going to want to show this property if it has any issues that you need to take care of. Again, store that stuff in a secure place and then call your contractor, start addressing these because you're not going to want to rent this place that's not turnkey. Safety checklists are things that you want to have at the beginning, the middle, and the end of a tenant's stay. The safety checklist should be done as a pre-move-in check that shows the condition of the property before the tenant moves in so that you can reference that when they move out and talk about any discrepancies. For example, let's say the one room was completely renovated and the day they move out, it's not, and there's holes in the wall and the carpet's all ripped. You can then take that as a look at the picture and look at the inspection of the day you moved in, Mr. Tenant, and we're going to talk about your security deposit holdback because of the repairs that are needed here that are not normal wear and tear. The safety checklist has to include items like smoke detectors, carbon monoxide, fire extinguishers, sprinkler systems if you have any, security cameras, things like that. Make sure all the doors lock, the windows lock, any security cameras or buttons that are there to get in through like a combination lock have to work. Change the batteries and everything to make sure they're always good, and ensure the fire extinguishers are installed and clearly placarded fire extinguisher here, something like that. They have to be in the green and not expired. And if they are 10-year extinguishers or whatever, make sure they are current. These are not things you want to skimp on. So the safety checklist is going to check all those things. It's also going to check other things like unit condition, if the HVAC is working, how many keys you have, things like that. So there are checklists and resources that we'll give everyone. But for you, you want to have a checklist of a baseline going into it beforehand with pictures. Get a deep clean. Hire a cleaner. Unless you have the time to do it yourself, go in, have them just do a clean of the property, vacuuming, dusting, touch-ups here, appliances. All of these things are important to make sure the property shows well. And if you were a tenant moving into a property, you'd want something that's pretty clean too. So again, don't skimp on this. If it's a few bucks to spend to hire a cleaner to come in, great. If not, do it yourself and do it well. Don't half-ass this part. It's very important that you have a good product to advertise. If you're going to be asking premium rent, you need to give a premium product. Don't fall into the different landlord case where we are, trying to just get past and save every penny. That's not what this is about. The faster you can clean the units, the faster you'll be able to attract tenants, and the quicker you'll be able to make some money. So just spend some time, money getting into it right in the beginning and document it. It's all write-off. Curb appeal is huge. If your property doesn't look good, nobody's going to want to live there. So cut the grass beforehand, trim the shrubs, trees, remove trash, make it look nice. Even if it's just a few hours before you take the picture, it doesn't matter. Those pictures are your baseline, and they're what's going to be put on the internet for people to come and actually look at the property. Anything that's broken, that doesn't work, just fix it. Stop pinching pennies. This is not that type of business. If you're caring about the cost of doorknobs, cabinet hinges, or screen doors, you're probably not going to care when you have to put the roof on. Start with the little stuff, take pride in your building, and just fix it, knowing that you would not want these things to be broken at your property either. If it is a safety concern, unquestionably, immediate repair. Make sure the lights work, good water pressure, toilets flush, all that stuff. Just go through, if you were to be a tenant there, what it would look like. Fix anything that needs to get fixed, period. With repairs, if it could hinder the value or habitability, it unquestionably needs to be done. But you want to plan long term for new paint, new floor. Don't do all at once unless it's a fresh rehab. These things are going to nickel and dime you over time to become issues where if you pay for all this up front, you're not going to have any cash left and there's no way to truly scale with this. So do the essentials up front, safety items, and then plan for things over time. Don't over improve unless there's a reason for your tenant base you're targeting to warrant such. So over rehabbing is real, whether flipping a property, burring, or renting, it it's a rental. It's not a high-end luxury property. And if you do have a high-end luxury property, your rents and your tenant base are probably going to be reflective of that. So just be mindful, not saying be cheap, just be mindful of where you are. Budget and financial clarity is the next step. Calculate your operating expenses. Once you own the property, now's your time to hone in and really figure this stuff out. Walk the unit, confirm the recurring expenses between insurance, property taxes, utilities, water, sewer, trash, and maintenance subscription if you have any sort of pest control or lawn maintenance. Things like lawn maintenance, you can actually put onto your tenants. Maybe give them a $50 a month rent break in exchange for making sure the grass is cut and the snow is removed. Always remember, though, these things are your responsibility as a landlord. They are not the tenant's responsibility. Even if you put them in the lease that the tenant's responsible for grass care and lawn care, it's still your responsibility if they don't do it. So you have to find a way to keep them motivated to do this. But spend the time now, refine your expenses, and just get a good idea of how much this property is going to perform, both income and expense. Compare it to your underwriting beforehand. If you are a good investor, you should have run your numbers beforehand. You know what your expenses and your income is going to be. Compare this so you know generally how is this thing performing or how could it perform based on what I was expecting. Is it going to rent sufficiently to cover the expenses and leave you any cash flow? If it doesn't, this is going to be a big learning curve for you in the beginning. There's a difference between covering the cash flow and covering the debt. They are not the same. If it covers just the mortgage, there are so many things on top of this you need to consider. Your taxes, your insurance, your vacancy, your repairs, your all the big stuff, the unknowns. So you have to make sure this is as advertised before you start putting people in here because this is the beginning of your business. Build a reserve plan. We recommend when people start off, they put at least $3,000 to $4,000 per door in an account and park it there. The money is going to get used eventually, and it's better to have it there so you don't have to think about it than not. If you're heavily capitalized and you can just afford to pay for an HVAC or a plumbing repair or for a roof out of pocket, fine. Your money's probably making more interest elsewhere than sitting in this account. But for new investors, we highly recommend $3,000 to $4,000 per door, depending on the property and its condition. Just put it away in an account. So if it's a 2 unit, you want to have at least 6 to 8 grand sitting there for little things like repairs that come up, this and that, because they will show up eventually. There are going to be surprises, and you don't want to be scattering to find them. You want to hold at least 3 to 6 months reserve in the expense account to make sure you can take care of these things, and that is that fund. As soon as the rent comes in, it starts accumulating, and then you can start pulling eventually. That's the cushion for vacancies, repairs, or large items. Creating a strong listing is how you attract tenants or your customers to the property. Take pride in the pictures, the condition, and how it looks. Take pride in how the listing is written. Unless you're going to hire a real estate agent or a leasing agent to lease this property for you, you need to be the one to encourage people to live here. Whether you're using apartments.com, Zillow, or another source like Facebook Marketplace or maybe Craigslist, you want to take pride in these pictures. Have a good phone, good camera, well lit shots, and get every room and the exterior. Sometimes you might want to be conscious of other tenants and other things that might be a hindrance to the other people that live there if it's a multi unit. Just take good pictures. Clean off the countertops, open the blinds, get the natural light in, but do not include pictures that have other people or pets or other belongings in there. Vacant shots only. If they're not vacant shots, do not post them. Wait until this vacant shot or wait until the unit is empty before you take pictures and put it online, because now you are putting pictures of things that you do not have authorization to online. make sure it's clean. The other thing, you do not want to alter these images in any way other than a watermark, which I highly suggest. Put a watermark over it so that people can't strip that picture, put it on Craigslist, and then advertise it for themselves and try and get people to make a deposit. This is very common and it happens all the time. It happened to us several times just in the last few years. Watermarks are the only acceptable form of altering in this business. Otherwise, you are misleading. Don't put digital furniture. Don't brighten up. Don't make crazy edits to the pictures. Just make them real so that no one is surprised. The tenants are not going to be happy if they get there and the property does not present the way that it should. The listing description is critical. Highlights are what's going to sell this thing. Hardwood floors, kitchen, washer and dryer, fence yard, off-street parking. People love that kind of stuff. The things they don't care about are um, the variables that are not things that tenants are going to immediately see as a positive. Use ChatGPT and other sources to write this for you. Include the rent, security deposit, lease term, pet policies, other things like that. But emphasize how close it is to certain roads, employers, schools. People like to see this, that the owners care about it. And they can tell in writing and how you write this if you're going to be someone that is easy to work with or not. If the first words out of your mouth and the first words out of the listing are negative, we do not do this, we do not do this, it's the beginning of a very interesting relationship. Be encouraging, be open. If you're going to accept Section 8 or government subsidized housing, put that in the listing so people know. Because everyone's going to ask you anyway, hey, do you accept Section 8? And if Section 8 is welcome, please, please put it in there so people know. If it's not, you have the right to choose who lives there within fair housing. And as long as you're not discriminating, you can, in certain areas, put these things in your narratives. The criteria is making sure your public clients are aware of what you're going to expect. Your income requirements, your credit requirements, eviction, references, things like this are all important so that there's no question. The reality is, a lot of these people don't really read this stuff anyway. You're going to have to say it 3 times over. But list these kind of things in the narrative to make sure that you have everything just out in the open. And again, expect to explain these things several times. You want to deter unqualified applicants up front. Advertising and outreach is the next section. Listing on the major platforms is very easy. Apartments.com, Zillow Rental Manager, and other things like this, again, are free for landlords, and they will sync to all the other rental sites. They will allow you to create an account, upload photos, upload listing descriptions, the rent, move-in availability, all these things. They can even schedule tours through these websites. I'm not going to go into detail with each one now. I'd encourage you to do it on your own here. But these will allow you to essentially manage this listing from beginning to end right through the program. They also will then allow you to accept an application once people put an application in for that unit, and you can create a lease right there. Make sure your attorney reviews it. A point of information and a very, very important piece that I'd like you to remember. Do not ever entertain renting an apartment or commercial space to someone you have not met in person. People out there are so desperate. They'll give you all these stories of, oh, I'm moving here. I'm just going to move in and I'm moving from across the country. I'd like to just pay up now and then I could just move right in. No, 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 no. Do not ever let someone move into this place until you've evaluated their application, you've met them in person, and you can personally vouch for the type of person they're going to be. This is on you if you're going to self-manage your property. A property manager would cover this for you, but if you really want to manage your property yourself, you need to be the filter. If someone comes in who's not qualified, you have the opportunity before you sign with them to not accept them. You can't do that remotely, and you can't do that without meeting the person. So never, ever consider a tenant who you've not met in person. That's just part of self-managing. Local visibility is huge. Facebook Marketplace can get these on there pretty quick. I have a lot of local landlords and friends who've done this with great success. Although the quality is a little bit lower, you're going to get a lot more interest. So economies of scale, you might find a good tenant in there. Ask local friends, investors, tradespeople. There's always someone out there looking for a unit, whether it's someone who has a change in living situation. Just put it out there. If you're licensed in real estate as an agent anywhere, you must also list that in these listings. So talk to your broker how about how to do that. You could pin flyers around. Obviously, that's a little bit old tactic, but you never know. There are people who don't have the internet that might be great tenants for you. If you're going to consider Section 8, the HUD Housing Choice Voucher Program is guaranteed consistent rent with a few catches. We're going to do an entire other training on this, but I can tell you some of our best tenants have actually come to us with HUD vouchers and they pay on time in full because the government's watching over them, making sure they are doing what they say they're going to do. They're also watching over the owner to make sure the owner is taking care of the property when they say they're going to take care of it. But in exchange, the rent comes through at a premium because they know that these tenants have a tough time finding private housing like this. The properties have to pass an inspection and it must fall within the fair market rents. So I'd like to teach you about this and we'll do it in another training here. But Section 8 tenants, if filtered appropriately, can absolutely be great long-term tenants for your business. You can screen them in the same way you can every other tenant, and it definitely gives you more options. Showing the property is something that is going to take time. Schedule open houses or schedule 1 hour increments with tenants. If you give a tenant a 5 hour window, you're going to waste your time. Give them one option and one opportunity to be there on time, and do not ever leave it open ended. Don't run yourself ragged with these people. Just pick times that work and let them tell you which of your two available times you can do. If it doesn't work for them, maybe see if you can work with them, but otherwise, remember, they just want to find the first opportunity to move into a unit. They don't care. And they're just going to go to the next apartment that has availability. So schedule a quick walkthrough in person and make sure that they are physically there. Allow multiple parties through and just talk to them. Get a feeling for who they are. You never know what you can come up with. Be professional, be safe, and bring a friend, especially if it's vacant. Always, always, always have someone else with you if you can. Install cameras, ring doorbell, stuff like that, whatever you have to do to make sure you are covered, and then create a short FAQ handout or something like this to give people. Sometimes the information on the rental listing is a good thing to just summarize and give them a paper when they walk in. Hey, here you go. Have people sign in if they're going to be an open house and make sure that they are going to actually find this as a place they can live. Set the tone for the rental. Don't be super casual. Present yourself like a business owner. You want to be warm, but make sure you are crystal clear that this is a business interview. You can be nice, but you are a landlord who holds tenants to their promise, and their promise is their lease. You can be flexible on some things, but you expect them to perform and they need to know your requirements beforehand. Do not get walked over before you even start a relationship. Final tips. Your listing is your store. Clean it, prep it, make sure you are serious, and make sure it looks like something someone is actually going to want to live in. They're the customer. The first impression is always on you to make sure the best foot is forward and to make sure they want to come live in your building. So give them a good product, give them a good experience, and they'll give you the same. So in the next video, we're going to go through tenant screening process and how to sign the first tenant and maybe prevent some issues associated with that. So see you in the next video.